Hey everyone, I got something very special. This right here was distilled 1924. It is a bottle of Blockdale American style rye whiskey. And we're going to try it now on David Drinks Dusties. All right, thank you all for watching. This is, as I said, it's Blockdale Rye whiskey. It was distilled 1924, bottled 1936. It was done in the Netherlands. This was probably used with locally sourced grains. So it would have used grains such as rye and malted barley. And it would have been distilled by either the two biggest distilleries there in the Netherlands during that time period would have been De Kuyper and Bols. Now, what's interesting is in the 1920s, we had Prohibition in the United States, and in order to produce whiskey still, a lot of companies, they decided to outsource. They would go to either Canada or, like in this example, the Netherlands. They would produce whiskey hoping that Prohibition would eventually end, and they would have an American-style product they could sell back in the United States. And that way, so they could keep production going, because there was a limited amount of licensing that was for medicinal use during Prohibition. Blockdale, they decided to do that. They kept the whiskey in the barrels until 1936, and it was re-imported into the United States during that time period in New York. Now, I don't know the mash bill that would have been used on this. Back during that time period, there was two types of rye whiskeys. You either had super high rye, which would have been done in the Monongalia area, and you had the low rye, which was Kentucky-style rye whiskey. We'll go ahead and give it a try, though. This seems to mimic more like the Monongalia style. You get a lot more rye notes on the nose. Kentucky ryes, they smell more like a bourbon does. This right here, right off the bat, smells very like a yeasty rye bread. I get a little bit of a bubblegum note as well. Oh, sorry about that. Went down the wrong pipe. Now, being 90 proof, this the proof definitely holds up on it. I would say this may have been distilled at between like 105 to 110 back then. The barrel entry proof would have been a lot lower than what they do today. And also, being done in the Netherlands, this could have actually dropped in proof in the barrel. The Netherlands have a cooler climate than Kentucky, and because of that, during a cooler climate, you may see the proof drop inside the barrel, and then hotter climates, obviously, they go up. That's why Texas whiskey is like super dark, and it is really, really high proof because the water evaporates first. We'll go give it another try again. Yeah, you get a spearmint, lemongrass, and you get that sweetness from that bubblegum note. It's very sweet. A little bit of herbality as well. This is really good rye whiskey. I personally prefer really high rye whiskeys. When I want a rye whiskey, I like my bourbon to taste like bourbon. I like my rye to taste like rye. Go ahead and give it another try. Yeah, being lower proof like this, you immediately lose like all alcohol. It is very easy to drink. but you do get those barrel notes to it. Being 12 years in the barrel, it probably tastes a lot older than what it is, because back then they would have been using like old growth oak. And when you have old growth oak, there's a lot more layers in it. So what happens is when you char a barrel that has a lot of layers, like old growth, then you will have a lot more contact within the barrel to those layers. So it interacts with it a lot more. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do the final taste now. Yeah, that's just super good rye whiskey. I would say that this is more akin to what you would get in production today. Only problem is that you're not going to find a 90 proof that's really going to be developed like this. This is just a really developed, really well-rounded whiskey. And like with this oak and all the rye notes that go with it, it's really just mingling well together. It's not like the rye is overpowering the oak, and it's not like the oak is over oaked and taking over everything. It just commingles in a really good way. Yeah, and it's something that's really cool, trying something that was distilled over 100 years ago. Going into World War II, this whiskey would have been, man, this was actually shipped to the United States right at the cusp of World War II. So that's also something really interesting to think about, that like during this time period, there was so many crazy things happening across the world. But I appreciate y'all watching. We're going to have some more videos coming out soon. And until next time, I'm David, and I like to drink Dusties. Y'all have a nice day.